Yeah,
No, this is definitely not planned. We're
this
not
is
good at
definitely
planning.
not planned.
I mean, if we
Um,
were good at planning, it wouldn't have been like a month since the previous episode, but we're really bad at planning.
we are. We had a few penciled in, and I basically shit the bed and just said, "No, not today."
I think there was
But
one I cancelled, though, to be fair.
yeah,
There was one where
we've
I
both.
was not feeling well, and we pushed it to the next day, and you weren't feeling good, so then we pushed it to the next month, apparently.
And then you've been up and down the country. Where were you going to Aberdeen last week?
Oh, no, I wasn't in Aberdeen. I went south. Everything's
Oh, you
south,
went
isn't it, apart from
south.
Aberdeen. I went to Anglesey race circuit for a track day, where a gentleman that I'm friends with wanted his stag do to be 2 road cars at a track day, and he bought 2 Peugeot 207s for £1,000 each. He did some minor modifications to one of them by fitting proper brake pads, but that was basically the only modification. And we took these cars to Anglesey, and we were on circuit with actual race cars, which was slightly terrifying, as well as non-race cars, obviously. Turns out I don't think you need a proper race car to have a lot of fun in a car. I'm now of the opinion that something such as a Peugeot 207 or a Skoda Fabia or a Volkswagen Polo would actually be the greatest thing in the world to have, just a track car, where you know that every time you go, you're going to run out of brake discs or brake pads or you're going to run out of tires. But my God, that was good
But
fun.
you're always at
I
100%. Like, how often are you at
That's it,
100%
yeah.
of a McLaren or a Lambo or things like that? You could just
Yeah.
wring its neck. I mean, you've seen the C1 racing,
I
and things like that. It looks so fun.
Well, racing line athlete Jamie Caudle does the C1 racing, and he says it's brilliant fun because, like you say, you're always at 100%, even if the 100% is not a very
And
high
this is a
bar.
man who drives a V8 Ginetta, and he's
Yeah,
praising
Citroen
C1s, little
C1.
Citroens. Yeah.
So I'm kind of the same opinion. Now, obviously, I've only driven the Ginetta a couple of times, and both times I felt a little bit scared of it. It's like you kind of get to the edge and it moves about, and you're like, oh, it's a little bit scary because the consequences are a bit bigger. But in the Peugeot, I kind of felt like there are no consequences. I'm going slow enough and the wall is far enough away that it's going to be fine. Like, worst case scenario is I'm getting stuck in the gravel trap. But you're right, you can push it absolutely 100%. Once you get your eye in, it's like, no, let's break 10 meters later and see what happens. And then let's
Now
corner a little bit faster and see what happens. And it's absolutely great fun.
you did send me a picture, and there was quite a lot of coolant not in the car.
So that one actually started with no coolant. And then the
And
guy
ended
put
with no
coolant
coolant.
in. And then the coolant all came back out and it ran just fine with no coolant. So we just stopped
Good.
adding coolant to it because the temperature never moved from the
It
90.
is
It was
overrated, I think, coolant.
perfectly horizontal temperature bar. Oil temperature was fine as well. So I was like, well, it clearly doesn't need coolant then. It's totally fine. What we did run out of was front left tire. There was
Front left
substantial
tyre.
wear on the front left tire on both cars to the point where the tread had separated from the carcass on one of them. One of the guys was really
Nice.
pushing it into the corners. He was very much using the friction from turning as the
Mm,
braking.
nice.
And we also run out of brake pads on one of them as well. But otherwise, the cars generally cope quite well. Oh, the exhaust kind of became detached from the manifold at one point, like the rubber connector. Again, that's kind of fine. It's an unmodified road car. It's not the end of the world. And when I was driving, I think about 6 laps into it, well, the guy originally said is that we want to see how many laps we can do in an hour in these. And I was like, mate, I don't think these will last an hour if we push them for an hour. Like, they will break. So I was 6 laps into a stint. Makes it sound professional when you say a stint.
It does,
And
yeah.
going around a right-hander, for anybody that knows Anglesey, it's the hairpin right-hander at the top of the circuit. Your hands are crossed over a bit, and the car started beeping. And then by the time it unwound my hands, it stopped beeping. And I was like, all right, okay. It did it the next lap. And I was like, what is that beeping? It sounds like a weird noise. And then I caught it in the corner of my eye. It had an oil pressure warning, but only going around that right-hander. So presumably all the oil just sloshing away
It's
from the sensor
sloshing
at
to
that
one
point.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then it drove fine after that. But absolutely incredible fun. So I think the pinnacle of enjoyment in motorsport might actually be getting a road car and making it track worthy. Not turning it into a race car, but just give it proper brakes and tires so you don't destroy them in 10 laps. and just go out there and have fun because you can drive it at 100%. I think
I
that
think that's
might
the way to
also be the
go.
most cost-effective way
Yeah,
of doing it as
accessible,
well.
which we
Yeah,
know historically motorsport is not very accessible.
exactly. Do you want to spend 150 grand on a Ginetta, or do you
No.
want to spend 5 grand on a Peugeot 207, which also will include brakes, tires, and all that good stuff? It's like, I'm kinda leaning towards a silly little track car, to be
And did
honest.
you need your ads for this? Because I don't know if we've
No.
mentioned you did your ads.
So this is the other thing that surprised me. I think we did mention that we've done our hours, but this is the thing that surprised me about it. Is like, see when you go-karting on a public circuit, you get taken into that briefing room and you're shown a video. They tell you, it's like, if you hit anybody, you will be removed, and it's very,
Black
very
flag.
serious.
Yeah.
You turn up at one of these track days and they're like, "You got your driver's license?" It's like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Cool, on you go." And you're like, so wait a minute. Some of the guys who are with us have not driven in 10 years since they passed their test. And now we're going to shove them on track. And there's actual race cars out there. It was like Revolutions out there and Radicals and Ferraris, Ferrari road cars, Porsche road cars. There was a GT3 RS, which was probably £300,000 because it looked like it had bits of Mantic kit on it. And we're like, so we just flash our regular driver's license, you get punted out there. And apparently, yes. And there was a
Sign
couple
me
of
up.
close moments with like a GT3 RS where you're like the tire on that car is worth more than this entire vehicle that I'm driving in. But they just let you do it.
Imagine
That's
being
wild.
an owner of a GT3 RS and you take your car down to a track day and you're getting you're getting held up by two idiots in some old Peugeots.
So there was mixed reaction to them because there was a couple of red flags, mostly for cars having stopped on the track. There was like a BMW with a bonnet come up, and there was a Mini that started smoking, and they just stop it. So, firstly, it's quite surprising how quickly they recover vehicles on a track day. Like really, really quickly. The marshals at Anglesey are either really on it, or this is standard for a track day, where 5 minutes, red flag, 5 minutes later, you're green again. And I'm like, in IMSA, it's 20 minutes. We've not even gone to red, which is a safety car for 20 minutes because somebody had an accident, but Anglesey's dealt with it in 5 minutes. That was quite cool. But whilst they were waiting to go on track, there was a guy on the pit wall was giving us the thumbs up, and he was like, "Oh, we really believe in you, these Peugeots." And I was like, "Don't, mate. There's already a warning light on it. Like, don't believe in me." Um, my
What's happened
proudest
to the
moment
Peugeot
was
then? Have you kept
on.
them?
Yeah, they're both kept. The guy's kept them, and he is going to replace the brakes and tires, and we're going to do it again.
Love it.
um, which I'm well up for. My proudest moment was I was hassling a Ferrari, which was significantly faster than me down the straights. But whenever it overtook me, I was annoying it in the corners, and I'm like, that's quite satisfying. And a friend of the show, Nick, his proudest moment, and I witnessed this because I was in a Peugeot when this happened. GT3 RS went past me, and Nick in his Cayman went past me, and he was significantly faster than the GT3 RS with like no downforce, nothing like that. And I was hassling the GT3 RS to the point of having the GT3 RS had to let him through. And I was like, that's satisfying to watch. It's like the little
That's
Cayman annoying the
gutting.
911s.
Yeah.
So, and do you know what? I don't know how much Nick's car is worth. I'm going to say like 30 grand for the sake of discussion, given the age of it. And that's probably a tenth of the price of that GT3 RS, and he overtook it. And I'm like,
It's not all about it's not all about the car, is it? It's about the driver
really
sometimes.
satisfying to watch. Really
Yeah, I like
satisfying.
that.
So
I enjoy
yeah,
that.
he's kept the
I
Peugeots.
think
He
I need
wants
to
to do another
buy
track day with it. You
I
need to
think I
come
need to buy a
along.
Peugeot and come down to Anglesey. That sounds like an absolute blast.
I think you do. Maybe there's a Slicks article in there at some point of the most fun you can have on a racetrack is actually a Peugeot 207. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should have a word with them and see if you can come along to the next one. And we could talk. There's an article in that either written by you or Nick or me or I don't know. I'm just making up as I go along here, but I think there's an article in.
There's definitely something there.
Yeah, 100%. We're going to end up causing a sudden rush of Peugeot 207s to be bought on Auto Trader after that article.
Yeah, Peugeots are going to be out of stock by the time this is out because everyone out of stock, but increasing in stock. If
You
that
imagine the price of Peugeot 207s going up because we've just
through the
podcasted
roof.
about. Yeah, but my mate Jordan's buying them all. He's got two sitting in his street at the moment. He was trying to get a third. So like we'll do a podcast and the price of his 207s go up. Is that not market manipulation or something? That doesn't sound legal.
it does sound a little bit illegal, a little bit,
Does a bit.
but
We should talk about that.
mm,
We should see if we can get you on to the next one, and then we can write that
absolutely,
article.
absolutely. And
Imagine trying to
this
get
was
professional
during.
photos of the 207 at Anglesey.
I think there's a front cover there, isn't there? It's Peugeot.
That's a brilliant front cover idea in a sort of artistic
Some
style, but behind it is a
shitty
Ferrari.
poverty spec Peugeot with a Ferrari chasing it down.
Oh, that's definitely an idea there. We need to do that cover.
And this was during the very hot weather that we get one day of hot weather a year, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was quite shocked at how road tires don't survive. Like, we all know they don't
Mm.
survive. But what we're used to as, like, I guess from the gaming generation is you've got a little percentage number that goes down when your tires are
Yeah.
warm. But to
Little
actually
tire wear.
see,
Yeah.
yeah, but to actually see the tire in real life, and you'd be like, wow, there's a lot of pickup on that tire. It's like, that's why it's rumbling. It's like, wow, the tread is coming off of the carcass. Like, no wonder it's struggling. It's like, to actually see the tire wear in real life rather than just here's a percentage number is quite interesting. And it also goes to show you is like there's more to a race car than what it seems, because these Peugeots had a day at Anglesey, and if we had continued pushing them like we did in the morning, they would have died. Like, they would not have survived. They did drive back to London, but only because we started taking it easier in the afternoon and giving them breaks. So it's like, well, race cars
It's an
are actually just
appreciation
built
for
different.
endurance cars, isn't it? And things like that.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. So, but absolutely brilliant day. You should definitely come along to one. We'll get an article out of it. That's a great idea. I love that.
But yeah, I'm all for just getting behind the wheel and having fun. We could even turn it into some sort of slick social and just get everybody down to a circuit and it's
Oh,
ours
that's
for
a
the
great
day.
idea.
I don't know. There's something there.
That's a brilliant idea. I'll have to
There's
speak to Jordan about that one actually.
yeah,
Let's see
definitely
what he
something
thinks.
there.
Yeah, but you've been doing stuff as well, haven't you? You were someplace at the weekend.
I was indeed someplace at the weekend. So I was invited to Kip and Nook's May car meet to flog the magazine, basically,
Mhm.
um, alongside a small brand you might have heard of called Porsche. Um,
I'm aware of them.
yeah,
I'm so
so
aware of them that I would like them to be aware of me and, give me stuff.
they're up and coming, bit similar to the magazine, really, in the sense, getting the name out there. It's good for brand awareness and
Uh,
things like that.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, we were alongside Porsche. Oh, there was another brand that you may or may not have heard of, Red Bull, I think they're called.
Do they do those drink things? It's like
Red
coffee,
Bull, I
but
think. Yeah,
tastes
I,
worse.
yeah, it's like cold fizzy coffee made from bull sperm or something like that.
The marketing writes itself.
Yeah, I mean, when you break it down, that's yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I was there on Saturday at Kip and Nook, which is this um, events and hospitality luxury sort of lodge place up in Darlington. They have sports facilities, gym. They have paddle courts. They have all these really beautiful lodges with hot tubs and log fires and things like that. But the owner is also very big on cars, so hosts car meets and social events and things like that. And I was surrounded by a lot of very nice pieces of kit. Um, it's funny actually. When I turned up, I said, "Oh, I'm one of the vendors." And they gave the car a look up and down, which, for those who don't know, is a is a 1 liter Fabia. Um, and they said, "Are you having the car in the stall?" And I said, "It's probably for the best that I don't, isn't it?" So I parked. I was parked around the back, away from the event. But the funny thing is, um, another friend of the podcast, Len of Len's Autos, um, he was there, and he came down in his Z4 that has taken him through Europe into Italy, Switzerland, Germany, all that kind of stuff. And this Z4 has seen some miles and has a little bit of body damage, and it's lived a life. And at the very end of the day, they were doing awards for best car and worst car.
Mhm.
And Len said to me, "When oh, imagine if they said the Z4." Uh, and then they did say the Z4.
Oh god.
So Len's little pride and joy that's taken him all over Europe was voted worst car of the day, which is quite sad, but
That's
also
harsh.
quite funny. It is harsh. Um,
'Cause it's not a
but it was
bad
quite
car. It's just had a long
no, no,
life.
it's
And
but
it's
when you've got a BMW Z4 with a massive dint in the front bumper next to a GT3 RS, you can see why.
yeah, but is the GT3 RS spending its entire life in a garage and only getting wheeled out to events, whereas the Z4
Probably.
is driving to the Matterhorn?
Yeah, it's
Because
being
then I prefer
used.
the Z4.
Yeah. So, I felt a little bit bad for him. He's very fond of that car, and you are. You get if you get protective of your own car, even it's a Fabia. It's not the most inspired piece of kit, but it's mine. It's reliable.
Yep.
It's plucky. I
I'm
can't really
protective over
fault
the
it.
Polo. It's just a 1.2 Polo.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
nothing special about it, but I'm protective of it because of how much I've done in it.
So yeah, poor Len's Z4 was voted for worst car of the day. I don't even know what the best car was, but I think it was uh, Testarossa Ferrari or something like that. I'm a little bit out of
Fair.
touch with the new Ferraris.
Is that
Um,
well, I thought the
but
Testarossa
speaking of
was an
which,
old Ferrari.
I don't
Oh
know.
god, are we about to segue onto the new Ferrari?
Well, I was. I don't think anyone's talked about this yet.
No, nobody's
Um,
noticed that this car has
Nobody's
been teased,
mentioned
has
that
there?
there is an electric Ferrari, so I think
Nobody's
we should be
mentioned
the
it.
first people to talk about it.
Okay. So,
There's an
what's your
electric
opinion?
Ferrari. I think it's awful.
I love it as a £100,000 Hyundai. They have accidentally built a really nice Hyundai. If you told me that was the new Tesla, I'd be like, "Oh, they've upgraded that." Hyundai do some quite interesting electric vehicles. That's the kind of thing I would expect them to produce.
It's probably a great car, but it's just not a Ferrari. I don't think it's a Ferrari.
I'd agree with that, 100%. The what I will say, let's get the good things out of the way. I do think it's a nice car if you take off a Ferrari badge. That's fine. I actually really like the interior because it is the most Ferrari thing. That steering wheel in the center is such a 60s Ferrari throwback steering wheel. And I love that.
What's it called? The Luce?
Luce, which somebody's going to correct me here, I think is just Italian for electric.
Brilliant.
Somebody said,
Yeah,
it might be
that
Smith and Sniff, they talked about how Italian cars sound really great in English, but they've actually got really boring names in Italian.
they must have worked on that name for ages.
So I want to
Okay, yeah,
like it
the
more than
interior
I
is
do.
nice. That's cool.
Interior is nice, yeah, but that's the only Ferrari bit. That steering wheel, like the three-spoke steering wheel is so Ferrari. And I
Yeah,
thought
that's nice.
that because they showed the interior months ago, long before they showed the exterior, and I thought that because of the way that interior is built, we were gonna get like a retro throwback sports car. Now Renault have done the new Renault 5, and it's quite retro but also modern at the same time. That's what I was expecting. I was expecting something that looked a little bit 70s, but also
Mm.
modern somehow. And instead, we got a
And there's
fridge.
that K car. Is it Nissan or Toyota have done that new
Or
K
this
car that I showed
was
you,
it
that purple one that's
the
really small
yeah, is
wheels,
it the
and I
Super
think that's
N or
brilliant.
something like that?
Yeah, yeah, love it.
Yeah, see, I love the retroness that's coming back. It's really cool, and this just isn't that. It's just really boring. Um,
Is
the
it gonna be fast?
designers,
Because it doesn't even have bolsters on the seats. They're just like regular car seats for a regular car. My
it was
Fabia has more sporty seats than that.
something like 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, which is fast when you're talking about internal combustion. But when you're talking about electric, it's kind of par for the course. It's not that interesting. But it's going to sell, isn't it?
Do you think? Well,
Yeah, because all
oh, the
Ferraris sell.
doors. I've
Yeah,
just
it's
seen
just
the
suicide
doors.
doors. Yeah,
Interesting.
let me
I
bring
think
that
it's
up whilst we're talking
hideous.
about it. I, I, I think it's hideous because it's a Ferrari.
Yeah, but
I think
you do sort of have a responsibility to keep a brand. It's like, I don't know. Should they? It doesn't feel like a Ferrari. It feels like
completely
you
agree.
could badge this up as anything else.
It's It's all just a bit awkward, really. And every so often you see a little bit of flash of a Ferrari. Like those rear lights look like they came from a Ferrari 360. And you're like, all right,
Hmm.
okay, I'm seeing that.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, no, it's just not that interesting.
Thing is, it's not a supercar. They're not making. It's not. They're not trying to make a supercar. So it's maybe when like Lamborghini did the Urus, people weren't too pleased about that. Lamborghini making an SUV, but Porsche did it with the Cayenne.
But
This
this
is
is why
just
it will sell
they're just
because
branching into another area of the car industry. I think
there will be
it's not
people
for
who
me.
want an electric car and I've got enough money that they'll just be like, oh, Ferrari have got one. I'll just buy that.
Yeah,
But also, Ferrari do that thing of you're not allowed to buy a new Ferrari without having previously owned X amount of previous Ferraris.
wonder how it'll
So
work with this.
this might be one of the ones that if you want to order the F90 or whatever the next top end one will be, you might have to have one of these first. I think that'll be part of it. I think a lot of this will get bought by people who just want an electric car and have got enough money to be Ferrari, but
Is this a
also people.
gateway Ferrari?
I think it is, and I think it's for people who are planning. It's like, I'm definitely going to buy the F90. What will I need to do to be allowed to buy one? Well, I'll go and order one of these. Or is this going to be
But
so high value that
is that not just cooking the books and making sales look better than they actually are? If it's just a
so
conduit to a better Ferrari.
that's all Ferrari do? It's an entire book cooking exercise. There was a thing I read that was Ferrari make more money from merchandise than they do road cars, which means that
Wow.
Ferrari sell road cars in order to allow them to sell baseball caps.
Yeah.
Ferrari are a merchandise company long before they are a car company. And if you look at
Interesting.
Porsche sell more Cayennes than they do 911s. So Porsche are actually an SUV company and they use that
Yeah.
to fund the 911 in Cayman, which is crazy.
Th- Is this the Ferrari that Johnny Ive designed?
Yeah. Can you tell?
I mean, there are licks of old Apple design, um, a little bit, but I know he was going to Ferrari. I just haven't seen anything of his yet.
Yeah.
But
So he
it is
left
quite
Apple.
simple and clean, and I can see the Johnny Ive influence.
He left Apple and started his own company called Love From. And Ferrari contracted Love From to design this entire car.
Horrible name.
And it's yeah, no, I'm not a fan of that. Given it's a design company, it should have been Love Forum. That would have been a better name. Straight away I've done better than Johnny Ive. So
You're in the wrong
Johnny, you
industry.
could buy that idea off me for a couple of million, whatever. Um, so it's not a secret that he was designing a car within Apple that was going to be a whole self-driving car. Is this the
Mm.
Apple car? Is that what this
It
is?
might
It's the
be.
Apple car with a steering wheel.
Do you know it might be? But there's that Aston Martin. I can't remember which Aston Martin, but they're rolling out Apple CarPlay that matches the design of the car that you're in, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, CarPlay
So
Ultra.
Apple, I say CarPlay Ultra. So your dashboard, your full digital dashboard, is all running through your phone, but it's designed and styled by the manufacturer.
I'm
Which
okay with that.
I can see why brands wouldn't like it because it's basically taking another element of the car's design away from them, but they also could work with Apple to make it
So that's
how
why
they
I'm
want
okay
it.
with that,
Mm.
because you can contract Apple to help you with the design. And when it comes to user interfaces, I have much more faith in Apple and Google producing a good user interface than I do General Motors. Like, I don't know about you, because you've probably got the same infotainment system in your car as mine. The Volkswagen
It's shit.
infotainment system is crap. Absolute
Yeah.
crap. The first thing I do is I plug in my phone to get CarPlay to
Mhm.
start up so that I don't have to look at the Volkswagen thing.
Me too.
So if from the very start you can have an Apple designed one that's got bits of Volkswagen in it, I'm going to probably like that a lot more because I have a feeling that Apple's designers will have done a good job. And then you let Volkswagen, or in this case, Aston Martin, breathe on it a bit to give it a bit of a tint to that. And I think you'll get something better. And I don't think there's many exceptions to that because I don't even like Ferrari interiors. This is actually the first Ferrari interior that I've liked. I don't think car manufacturers are actually good at making interiors. I think they're actually really great at making exteriors. which is why this Ferrari is so awkward. It's like, well, actually, I like the interior a lot more than I do the exterior, which is normally backwards.
Scrolling the website for the Ferrari, and it plays and feels like I'm on apple.com. If you scroll down, it is like it's a new iPhone launch with all its features and benefits and things like that.
You can bet that Johnny
The
Ive's company
influence
was
is
involved in this site.
so clear.
Yeah,
Like the
it's
key,
got
you
this.
sort of press into the middle center console, and
Yeah. The key's a really cool concept because when you're holding the key, it's lit up yellow, the Ferrari badge yellow. And when you put it in the car, the yellow drains out of the key and goes into the console. It's like you're transferring the power from the key to the
from the
car.
key.
This is what I mean about the interior is so well
Mm,
designed. It's so interesting and retro, but also modern at the same time. And it looks classy, which is not something that Ferraris normally look. Ferraris look impressive and passionate and cool, but not classy. And the interior of this looks classy. And then you look at the exterior and you're like, well, what happened to the rest of it?
what? Yeah, they did just run out of time.
Now, if you drop this interior into, let's say, a modernized F40, awesome. Love that. But this feels like a car of two halves to me. Although, you know what?
Yeah,
If you own one and you're in it, you don't have to look at it then. You could just enjoy the
true. It's
interior.
just
So
everybody
that,
else has to look at it. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So, you know who's happiest about this car is
Ferrari.
Mercedes because
Okay,
it took away the heat that the new Mercedes AMG GT was getting on Instagram because they released the images of the AMG GT and then Ferrari released this, which took away
I
the
haven't
heat.
seen what have they done wrong.
Oh, everything.
AMG the fully electric.
Fully electric AMG GT.
No.
But don't
Oh,
worry,
what's wrong with the back?
everything is wrong with the back.
Oh, we're reviewing this live on the podcast.
Would you like
There's
me to
the
make it worse?
Yes, please.
Right. So it's fully electric AMG GT, which goes against the whole idea of the AMGT having a big
The
V8 in the front.
AMG-T for me is a end game car,
Yeah.
but with an engine.
But don't worry. They've said with this all electric one, it will make V8 noises through the speakers for you. And it will even simulate gear changes for you by cutting the electrical power so you get the little jolt during the gear change.
Oh, that's so gimmicky. The Ioniq 5N does that.
But I
The
feel like with
Hyundai.
the Ioniq 5N, you can almost get away with it because the entire car is a little bit of a gimmick.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
just like
I
a
don't
child's
like
designed a car in a video
yeah,
game.
and don't get me wrong, I don't like it, or I don't like that it does it. I do like the iconic 5N, but I don't like that it does what it does, but it gets away with it because of it. Same if the Renault 5 did it. The Renault 5 is not pretended to be a supercar, so if it does silly things like that, you just have a laugh and go, "Oh, that's funny." This is meant to be what is essentially a supercar. This is the new AMG GT. This is the one that the GT3 is based off, although this is a four-door to be fair, but still. And
Why is it
that
four-door?
it just feels disingenuous to do that. It's like they've went, we know everybody prefers internal combustion, so what if we faked it and then they'll like it? And instead it makes it worse because now it's a slightly worse electric car that they are acknowledging is worse and there's no internal combustion part of
The
it.
thing is, if it wasn't called the AMG GT, I maybe would be like, okay, it's a new car for the, the all electric sector, but it's because it carries the name. It's like the Ford Capri. That's not a Ford Capri.
I mean, none of the
It doesn't
Fords are
have
Ford anything. It's like they only
no,
make
but the old
SUVs.
Capri and the new Capri are nowhere near similar or alike in any way. And I think if this had a different name, I'd maybe be okay with it. But that is an abomination.
It's the same as the Ford Puma when they announced that. I
And the
was like, "Oh,
Puma,
we're
yeah,
gonna have a
exactly.
Ford Puma," and you're like, "No, what you've made is another
Went from
SUV."
a two-door coupe and into a SUV.
Everything in Ford has become an SUV.
Everything.
We recorded
R.I.P.
that on
Ford.
the last Fullcast where Scott read out a description of a Ford, and you genuinely couldn't tell which one it was because they're all identical
That's
SUVs
fun.
now.
That's fun.
There was one. The electric family SUV with sports car styling. And you're like, what one's that? Don't know. But then there was another one that was the electric family SUV with sports car swagger. And you're like, that's the same thing.
It's the same car. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
the
agree with
smallest
your
car Ford does is the Focus, and that's even been binned, hasn't it?
yep. They got rid of the Fiesta, which was their best-selling car at the time, which I'm presuming that there was some accountant told them that that was a great idea, but whatever.
But it's the thing of just there's no name recognition or anything.
No.
An
That's my
Explorer.
that's one of the problems with this new AMG GT is why did you use that branding? Why didn't you just create something new? The only way you can get away with that is like the Renault 5, where the car's old now. Like you shouldn't really do it with an established car that has a following already. The Capri is one of those. The Renault 5, I feel like they have made it work because nobody really cared about the Renault 5 that much.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah, reviving a car, I'm all for that. But trying to ride on the coattails of an existing car like the Capri and absolutely ruining it, that's where I draw the line.
Mercedes made this worse because they posted it on Instagram and then the comments were, as you'd expect, extremely negative, and they were
Yep.
replying to the comments. She's
Were
like,
they?
"Don't." Oh yeah, she said, "Don't do that, man." So they were replying with
Oh,
things like, "Yeah, but you should see it in person. It's much more striking." And everybody's like, "That's not a good thing." Like
no.
when I see a BMW in person, it's more striking than a photo, but it's like a jump scare. I'm still not
Yeah.
happy about it. It's what you mean is it's more ugly in person because it's in 3D now.
Christ.
And
That's
when they were
crazy.
replying, there was a lot of responses to Mercedes just being like, you can just stop, right? You don't need to continue
You don't
this, but
need to
they
reply.
just kept going. So, and
Well,
I think a lot of people listening to this will assume that we are anti-electric car, and I'm absolutely not. I would love a little Renault 5 or the Honda E or something. I'd love one of those. But I also want V8s to exist. And I'm not all for binning the V8, creating it electric, but then pretending it's still got a V8 because you're just acknowledging that the V8 was what people wanted.
yeah. And have you heard about the JQ figures?
No, I've seen JQs
JQ
about.
was the best-selling car in March,
Ugh.
and that is mental because a year ago, I don't think I'd even heard of JQ.
Do you know what? If they're just replacing Ford SUVs and Nissan Qashqais, I'm kind of okay with that because they're just crap. Like, there's nothing interesting about them. So if you want to replace your Qashqai with a GQ7, cool. Fill your boots. My
Yeah,
issue
so
is
it
the
came
sports
in
car
front.
world going away.
It came in ahead of the Puma and the Qashqai.
The
So
JQs are another one where I feel like they are bought by people who don't actually care about cars, which is
no,
totally fine.
it's just a car. It's car.
Yeah, exactly. They need a utility vehicle to get them from A to B and do all the things they need. And in that sense, this probably fits the bill perfectly,
Yeah.
especially
Is
because
it hideous? Yes.
yeah, well, that's fine because so are all the Nissans. So it's cool. That ticks all the boxes for them. My issue is when they try and convert people who like combustion engines into electric fans. And I think that they are two different things. Like, I would like a little electric car for going to the shops and stuff. I'd love a Renault 5 for nipping it. Renault, if you're listening, if you've got any kicking around, especially the
Renault
Alpine
5 is
version
so
ones,
cool.
give
Yeah,
me
I'd
one of
love.
those.
They're really
I,
cool.
I love those. My issue is that AMG should have a V8. That's it.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Um, yeah, I'm lost for words.
I know, man.
Should we talk about Gucci?
Yeah, although I feel like I'm the least qualified person in the world to talk about fashion.
Absolutely not. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's exactly
So,
what we need is two straight white men talking about fashion. We will absolutely hit the nail on the head on this one.
so Gucci are entering Formula One with Alpine next year. They'll become the title partner to Alpine, and it will take the Gucci color scheme, Gucci Racing Alpine Formula One team. Because what is a short name for an F1 team anymore?
I mean,
Now,
IndyCar used to be called the Champ Car World. No, Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. That was the series name that the commentators had to read out on every
nice.
introduction. So we're used to that. Now, am I not right in thinking the Gucci colors are red and green stripes?
Yes, with a bit of gold as well.
Because nothing says classy like a bit of gold. So
I think it's
I, I
so
would
tacky.
so that's what I thought. Maybe I'm
I
just
think it's
like I was
so
about to say maybe
tacky.
I'm not stylish. We know I'm not stylish, but I look
That
at
was
it and
never in doubt, but it
I
doesn't
know,
matter.
but so maybe I'm not the person who should be judging this, but I look at the Gucci website and I'm like, it it looks like what poor people think rich people should buy.
Well, do you know what it reminded me of? Do you remember the early 2000s when all the celebrities were wearing Burberry head to toe?
Yes, yes.
And you look back and you think, "That's a bit tacky." That's what I feel this is going to be because Gucci is, as a brand, from what I've seen, it's very loud and in your face and gaudy, and you are buying it because of the brand. You're not buying it because it looks good, because you could get something nicer for much, much less money. So are we just going to have Formula One apparel that's costing thousands of pounds now?
Well, that's a good
Or
point. I never thought
are
about
they
that.
going to have to converge down and cheapen their brand to sell like a 60 quid teamwear piece of
Can you
kit? I don't know.
imagine Franco Colapinto fans going online to buy this year's baseball cap and it's £600?
Yeah, so
That's
oh
going to
yeah,
go down
I'm
well
an
in
Alpine
Argentina.
fan. I'm an Alpine fan. I'm going to buy their new teamwear. So that'll be £4,000 for a t-shirt.
I like that you said I'm an Alpine fan, and my first thought was nobody's that.
No one's ever said that.
No, that's a brand new sentence.
Yeah. The first luxury fashion house to serve as a title partner in Formula One. Is that true?
It's yeah, but they're playing with the optics a little bit. The first to serve as a title partner, but they're not the first fashion house in it because we have Louis Vuitton trackside at the moment.
Yeah, we've had Rolex
Yeah,
and Tag
Tag and a bunch of other stuff. So, but it is well. I was going to say Tag used to brand McLaren engines in the early 80s and late 70s, but it's not the same thing really. So, I suppose it is technically based on that description, isn't it? It's do you know what
maybe
though?
we're not the demographic. I mean, we're not. I say maybe we aren't the demographic.
We're not the demographic. The whole point in this is to rebrand Alpine as a classy team so that when you are selling merch and bringing people to races as influencers and things like that, is that you
Oh,
up the class of people that are you are bringing.
the
So they want to be associated
influencers
with that.
are
Because
going to
like
be like pigs in shit with this team.
oh, they're gonna absolutely love this. This is exactly what it is. They are repositioning the team as a classy brand rather than just a Formula One team, which is something that Aston Martin was getting quite good at until this year, and it's a complete disaster. It's something that McLaren have done very well of they're just going to be everywhere. Like everywhere you go, there's McLaren caps now. They're really good at that. Ferrari have been doing that for 100 years or so now. So fine. This is their attempt to do that, and it'll probably work to be honest. I don't think it'll work on current F1 fans. I don't current F1 fans will care, but I think it will bring a different group of people to F1 races as guests and influencers and hospitality. That's what they're doing, I think.
Do you think for a Gucci car, Alpine has the right drivers to sort of represent that? Do you feel like Pierre and Franco are cool and fashionable and representative?
I think Pierre is, isn't he? Pierre's cool.
Yeah, I think they could have worse drivers.
I think so. I don't really know much about Colapinto other than he needs to do a better job of keeping his fans in order. I know it's not really his responsibility, but you know, do better,
Yeah,
frankly.
I've seen some stuff about that. Yeah,
But I think it works with Pierre. I think it works that the team is French. I think that works much better than if it was Haas, for example. I think you would
is
struggle to
Gucci
rebrand
Italian or
Haas.
is it Gucci
I, th-
Italian?
I think they're Italian, but the team being French kind of puts them in a classy kind of group in a way that you would struggle to rebrand Haas as a classy
Yeah,
company. Haas is more
I
kind of
think this would have
industrial.
worked really nicely if Alfa Romeo was still on the grid.
Yeah, that'd work. I
I mean,
think it
obviously
works
there's
nicely
Ferrari,
with
but
but I think it works nicely with things like the Alpine A110 road car. I
yeah,
could see
there's going to be
somebody
a
with a bit.
Gucci trim on that, isn't there?
Ooh.
100%. There'll be a trim level for that with, the red and the green on the door panels or something. That's bound to happen.
So I've Googled Gucci, and we see quite a lot of
It's
those.
the first time you've ever Googled Gucci, I'm
I
sure.
know, but my ads are now going to think I earn a lot more money than I actually do. So it's green with a red stripe, but a lot of them have got this kind of pattern in the background, which I think a lot of the houses, a lot of the style houses actually do. So are we going to expect the car to have the pattern on it? Because a lot of the clothing does.
Yeah, it's hideous. Absolutely hideous.
Yep, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I I don't care. When it was announced, everyone was going. All the all the influencers were doing their obligatory post about it, saying how excited they are. No, doesn't do anything for me. But I am, as you can tell, not a fashionista, as the kids say.
Yeah, but I don't care for the different reasons in that it's just a title sponsor. It's no different to Oracle sponsoring Red Bull
They're still going to
or
be fifth or sixth in the
yeah,
championship.
I was about to name one of the McLaren sponsors, but I genuinely can't because there's so many of them. Gemini. It's like it's just another
Mastercard.
corporate there you go. It's just another corporate sponsor and it's not that interesting. It's just another sticker on the billboard.
Mm.
Um,
It just
it
feels a bit more like there's something to talk about because it's fashion.
Yeah, if this was random AI company, I don't think anybody would care. Williams have got Anthropic on the car, nobody cares. Williams have got Duracell on the car, nobody cares. Atlassian, nobody cares. It's just another company, and I feel like this is actually the same thing, really. It's just sponsorship.
So what do you know about the controversial Jaguar, the Type 01,
Not
that
much.
it appeared as a cameo in the new James Bond game, which is a bit of fun.
Did it? Oh, yeah.
It
So is
did.
this
Which is
based on the concept car that they made?
yes.
So
Yeah, it's since that very famous campaign that everybody had a lot to say about.
so here's a controversial opinion. I quite like the concept car.
Interesting. It gives me Lady Penelope vibes from
Mhm.
Thunderbirds.
Yeah, yeah, I could totally see that.
I'm showing my age.
I'm Googling to see if I could see it in the game,
Were the
see if somebody could
Thunderbirds
get a
on put on
screenshot.
strings for you, or were they animated?
They were on strings for me. I'm much older
Yeah,
than you,
me
mate.
too. No, I'm just saying because they were still on strings. It was like I feel like I was at the crossroads of animated Thunderbirds, which is an interesting.
Somebody has photoshopped the concept pink, and I could definitely see the Lady Penelope in it.
Yeah,
So now
that's
everybody's really upset about this car, and they keep
mm,
saying Jaguar should make the kind of cars that they used to make. That
I
sentence
disagree because they
sounds
weren't selling.
fine. Yeah, exactly. That sentence sounds fine until you realize that nobody bought them.
No one was
So
buying them.
so why would they make those again? So, in my opinion, it's either Jaguar tries something like this or they cease to exist. End of. So, I'm totally up for them trying this. And I feel like this is better than let's just do the same thing again and hope it's better this time. Or let's do the I-Pace or something, which was a pretty dull car, really. I'm totally okay with this. I'm looking forward to this road car being properly announced. 'Cause it also looks like it's repositioning itself as well of this is gonna be a high-end luxury car, and I think it's
I
distinctive
think it
enough
will
to
be.
sell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it will be. I think it will fit in there as a sort of futuristic, modern luxury sort of Bentley level piece of kit.
yeah, I'm totally on board with it. I really like it. I've seen a lot of the images of it in, like, a red camo type thing, which is really cool as well. They look like official images. So, yeah, totally down with that, and am I right in assuming it's gonna be all electric? Yeah. 986 horsepower electric car. I'm okay with that.
986. That is substantial. What other news has happened?
I mean,
Sorry, I'm choking on water. I've swallowed some
what
fluids.
what else has happened? A lot of motorsports happened. A lot of F1 happened.
Yeah, should we run through some F1 stuff?
Yeah, so where are we now?
Um,
We are
we've just done
post
Canada.
post Canadian Grand Prix. That was a good race. Enjoyed that one.
It was. I'm disappointed about George's car packing in
Yep.
because I think him and Kimmy would have gone all the way to the end, exchanging blows, and I think for the most part it was very clean and fair.
Hmm.
And I was really enjoying it. I was disappointed to see it end so soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I was worried that there was going to be a coming together. I think
But if
that
there was going
probably
to be a
would.
coming together, I'd have been fine with that as well because it would have meant
Yes.
at the time it would have meant a Max win, or as it ended up, it would have been a Lewis win.
Yeah,
Either
yeah.
I'd have been okay with.
Both of them did quite well actually to be fighting for a podium. It does ignore how badly McLaren did in order
I
to
was going to
remove
say, should we
themselves from
talk about
podium
that
running. That
wonderful
was
piece of strategy from them?
it was beautiful, wasn't it? Lando had me with a bit of hope for that strategy for
What,
about
the
a
race
minute.
start?
Incredible race start. Took the lead,
Yeah.
immediately pulled a couple of seconds. You're like, he could make this work. And then within a lap or so, you're like, nah, that actually doesn't work. Which makes sense. That's what intermediate tires will do to you. But yeah, I don't know how they looked at that and went, this is the way to go. And Piastri was questioning it the entire formation lap as well. And I'm like, should you not just cut your loss now and just pit him now on the
Yeah.
formation lap and switch it rather than wait and be further down? It was, uh, and then Zach Brown's sitting there talking about how they let Gemini help them with strategy decisions. And I was like,
Oh,
well,
shut
maybe,
up.
maybe you
Seriously?
shouldn't. They probably don't, but he's said that on an
Yeah.
interview recently.
What a
That
load
Gemini
of.
really helps them, and I'm like, well, I think Gemini was probably
Well,
involved in Montreal.
Zach Brown was in IndyCar, wasn't he?
He
Which surprised
was.
me when. So if, which is interesting, where if they're running on the same weekend, he picked IndyCar over F1,
Was that not the Indy
which
500 though?
it was. To be fair, it was the Indy 500.
Yeah, you get away with that one. He is running an
Yeah,
IndyCar team.
yeah,
They're
which
trying
is
to have
fair. Yeah.
the same model over there as F1, where you've got a kind of franchise model rather than teams being able to dip in and out. And he's kind of spearheading that. So like,
Did you watch the Indy 500?
I actually didn't. I can't remember why
Did
I
you not?
didn't. I meant to, but I didn't.
I did. It
Um,
was great.
I can't. Who won? That's really bad. I can't remember.
Felix Rosenquist
Oh, he did, didn't he? And did he not make the
by
pass on the
just two
last lap or
tenths.
something?
Yeah, 2/10 he won by, which is the closest finish in history, apparently.
Really?
It was a it was a brilliant, brilliant race. I mean, it wouldn't have been so close had there not been a yellow flag with 1 lap to go. So they basically had a 1 lap sprint to the line, which is why it was so close.
It's kind of my issue with American motorsport in general is it all just comes
They
down
throw
to
a
when the last
caution,
safety car out. Yeah. It's like
caution.
Daytona 24 hours is actually the Daytona 15 minutes. You just need to survive to the end and be on the lead lap and then wait for the
Yeah,
yellow.
yeah,
Which IMSA was at the last weekend with Detroit as well. And IndyCar, actually, there's always a late race yellow. It's just how it is. And then somebody will get the strategy spectacularly wrong because they always do. Yeah, it, I feel like a one lap shootout for the Indy 500 is very exciting in the moment, but does devalue the fact that it's a bit of an endurance race to get.
yeah. You've already done 500 miles at this point,
Yeah.
and for it to be decided on a 1 lap dash is a shame. Uh, but it was fun. There was a couple of red flags for rain and things like that. But I think maybe I've made that up.
No, I think there was a delay because Catherine Legg was going to be doing the double, and she got taken out very early in the IndyCar
Mm,
event, and rain would have delayed it a little bit anyway. I don't actually know. Did she get to do the Coca-Cola 600 the
no
same
idea.
day?
I have
I'm
no idea.
Googling
What, they
this.
run on the
We're
same
really
day?
bad at podcasting, aren't we?
No,
Yeah,
no, no,
so
no, no, no,
there's the
no, no, no,
idea
no,
of
no, no. This is
doing
fine.
doing the double is
People
when you
Google stuff.
run the Indy 500 in the morning, in the afternoon, and then you run the Coca-Cola 600 in the evening, and you cover 1,100 miles in the two
Well,
races.
She
I'm
took quite a clattering, so would she medically have been allowed to do that?
not sure. I'm currently looking up. We might have to edit some of this. Wait a minute.
It's
Um,
fine. We're good podcasters.
let's look
I
at
say
the
that
twin
when I've just had my microphone stuck in my t-shirt.
leg.
It's a sad day when BBC Top Gear has an electric tab, but not a petrol tab.
Oh, that's really sad. I don't like
That's a
that.
sad day. That is a sad day. Best electric pickups. Could you name an electric pickup?
There's that Slate pickup truck. You seen that?
Slate, which is an anagram of Tesla, which is not at all a coincidence.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I like the Slate pickup truck. It's interesting. It's different, but it's not like it doesn't even come with like a CD player or something like that. It doesn't come
Oh,
with
it's completely
infotainment
bog
system.
standard. Completely bog standard.
Kind of
But
like that.
yeah, Slate is an anagram of Tesla and it's an Amazon car.
It is an Amazon car,
And
which makes me
I
dislike it.
think there's some Tesla tech in there, and I think it's all part of this homologated world we live in where everything's one brand.
Or is it where the billionaires are all just making everything one company and you can't avoid
Yeah.
them? Yeah, I don't want an Amazon car, to be honest. I
No,
don't
I
want
was told the
Amazon
other
in
day, oh,
general.
you shouldn't buy this certain brand because it's part of this larger brand and they kill badgers or something. I thought, you just really cannot do anything anymore without it being immoral or being connected to some exploitative practice. It's very bleak, and that's not the place for this. We are a happy, positive podcast.
I've looked up Catherine Legg. She did manage to enter the Coca-Cola 600.
Okay.
So did enter
Did
both
she finish
races.
that one?
I don't think she finished that one, judging
Oh
by the
dear, it's a bad day in the
31st
office.
finishing position. Yeah, 2 DNFs. That seems to be how it goes a lot of the times. Kyle Larson's tried to do the double a few times and not managed to finish both. And I think I remember that the only person to have achieved the double and done both in the same day and completed them both is Tony Stewart, I think, back in the late 90s, early 2000s. So um,
Interesting.
if I'm
What's
wrong,
this
somebody will write
sausage
in and
car?
tell us.
What's this sausage car that I saw? The
Is this
hot dog.
the Wiener 600
Yeah.
or the Wiener 5?
What is
They
that?
they literally just get a bunch of sausage cars that are the same and race them. It is
I
what it
love it.
sounds like.
That's great.
It's daft, isn't it? And I do
It's
like
very
it.
daft, but I'm here for it.
I'm,
It's like when they got the F1 drivers to drive the Lego cars, and it ended up being more interesting than the actual race.
yes, it's that kind of thing. Um, it was the Wiener 500 because apparently these
The
are
Wiener 500,
the
sponsored
Wiener.
by Burger King.
So I think these cars actually exist in the US as like promotional vehicles. You know, we've got those Volkswagen not Polos, Beetles with the Red Bull cans on the back. I think
Oh
this is
yes, yeah,
one of
yeah,
the
yeah.
American equivalents. These are owned by a brand, Oscar Mayer, and they have decided that they are going to race them each year, which, fair enough. And they
Yeah,
do something like a 5 or a 10 lap race or something like that. And the cars are all local, I think. There's like a New York one and there's a Chicago one or something like that. So it's like a region that wins, I think. Again, somebody will write in and tell us if we are wrong.
they
But yeah,
will. They
it's
will.
good fun. And I think that's basically the only support event for the Indy 500 because Indy Next doesn't run anymore. So this is the official support event. I should go to Le Mans and they're racing Red Bull, Volkswagen Beetles or something. Yeah.
That'd be cool. I'm trying to say there was something else. Have they brought back the Panda?
See?
But it's called the Pandina. It's
Is
like a
that because
bigger
it's
panda.
electric?
It's a big panda, I
Or the
think.
Grand Panda.
It might be the Grand Panda. No, Fiat's. Here we go. Baby Pandina, grizzly pandas.
They're missing a trick, not just calling it the giant panda.
They are, yeah. And
If you
the
paint it
red
red, is it a
panda.
red panda?
Yeah.
There you go.
Again, we're learning on the fly here, as all professional podcasters do.
The car world's in a strange place, isn't it? Because you've got companies like Renault and Fiat doing more interesting things than Mercedes and Ferrari.
Yeah. Yeah. There's cool little hatchbacks popping up here and there. I mean, Skoda have done a new Fabia, which it's the fastest Fabia they've done, and that's like little pocket rocket. It reminds me of the Twingo RS from the late noughties, if you remember that.
I do remember that. They were great.
Remember
Let
in
me look
Top
up the
Gear,
new
and
Fabia.
they drove it off a ferry port with Ross Kemp in the boot.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. That was great. Yeah, I'm looking at the new Fabia. That's quite nice as well. Is it
The
electric or have we
Fabia's
got a
lovely.
petrol one?
It's got a motor.
It's basically the same
It's a
car as
sad
my
day that you have
Polo.
to question that for every car. What's under the
Uh,
bonnet?
Again, I'd love an electric car, but I spend far too long driving for 6 or 7 hours where it's just not reasonable to have an electric car, especially in Scotland. We don't quite have the infrastructure that England
Well, you've
has.
only just gone decimal up there, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, we only discovered electricity last year. It's been a very rapid progress in Scotland that we went from
Have
no
the
electricity to the internet.
have the Tesla superchargers reached Scotland?
We do have those. I think the
Because they're
problem is
like the
when you
main. Are they the
go,
main infrastructure for electric charging, or is it expanded beyond that now?
I think when you go north of Dundee, there's not actually much up there. I've got a friend who drove to the Highlands, and technically there are chargers out there, but then he was turning up at them and they were all broken. You're like, well, this is actually quite a serious problem because I literally cannot charge my car. And he ended up having to charge it overnight somewhere on a slow charger because there was no infrastructure there that was technically there. And as far as the map said, we're all working. And then he turned up and it was broken. And in England or the southern Scotland, it's kind of not too bad. There's enough dotted around that you just nip to the next one. But when you go up further north and there's 50 to 100 miles between the charging points, you could find yourself in still a sticky situation. But again, south of England, that's fine because there's so much infrastructure down.
Do you know what's needed for electric car charging? And it's
Diesel
the
generator.
that that is that's not where I was going with it, but that is a valid option. What I was going to say is the equivalent of McBroken. Are you familiar with McBroken?
Is this the map of which ice cream and
Yep,
yeah,
it's
the smoothie machines?
McFlurries.
Yes, that
Yeah,
was it.
it's if the McFlurry machine is working at your McDonald's of choice. So there needs to be a McBroken for electric charging stations.
E-broken. There you go. There's the branding
E-broken,
done. Somebody else can
yeah,
just build it
or
now.
broke EN or
Yeah,
something.
but with
There's
a
something in
dash.
it. Yeah, a little bit of fun. Um, that needs to be a thing. So then, yes, there is a charger, but is it working?
I
Because
feel like this has been a very anti-electric car episode, isn't it? Which is weird because we
I'm
would
here
both
for it.
have an electric car, but like
I would have one, but I wouldn't have a JQ or a BYD. I'd have something like a Renault 5.
I'd have a Renault 5, but I need a petrol car with it. I spend the
Mm.
entire time driving to races, and I can't do that in an electric car
Dave,
at the moment.
have you heard of these cars that have petrol and electric?
Yeah,
Would a hybrid not suit you?
probably. I mean, when I'm doing local driving around here, I'm only driving 3 or 4 miles to the shops and back. So, you know, these plug-in hybrids that people say, oh, they're pointless because only 20 miles of range is like, it's actually kind of perfect for going to the shops. That's well under what I would do. And then you start the petrol engine so I can drive down to Snetterton or Brands Hatch.
Mm.
So probably would be fine, actually.
18% of McFlurry machines are currently broken. 18.
That's
Bristol,
probably
54% of McFlurry machines in Bristol are broken.
I'll just make a note of that before I go to Bristol then.
What's going on in Bristol? That's crazy. There was some gap to fill there.
Yeah, totally fair. D- So, okay, here's a thought then. If you had to replace your car today with something reasonably priced, what would you buy?
Mm.
So
What's reasonably
we're
priced?
not talking a dream car. We're not talking about a GT3 RS. We're not even talking about £100,000 car. Let's say something in the 20 to 30 grand range, which I say is reasonably priced, but neither of us could afford. So what is reasonably priced? We're much poorer than what car
Mm.
manufacturers think we are. So like, if you were
Yes.
to just buy something sensible, that's not a JQ, what would
It's
you
not a
buy
JQ.
now?
Does it have to be new?
No,
So I
no,
could
it
get
doesn't.
used.
Yeah, which
I
which
would
opens up the
get
market a bit.
it does. I would get um, a fast wagon of some form, maybe an RS4 or an S4 or something like that.
So a
because
slightly older RS4 then, just to bring
yeah,
the price down. I like that
yeah,
idea.
I like a fast wagon. I think they're very cool. Um, and I think Audi are among the best
Mhm.
wagon makers. You know, maybe an M5 Touring, something like that. But I don't know if I could get one for that kind of money.
I mean, I
But
don't know if I could get one just because I'd have to look at it. It's a
I
BMW,
mean,
I'd rather
okay,
not.
okay, yeah, right. We found BMW's number one hater.
I'd I just can't do BMWs. They're just not
That's
for
fair.
me.
Out of the three German manufacturers, then, well, not there are more
Audi.
than three, but you're
I
an
know
Audi
which ones
man.
you mean. Yeah, yeah, you got
Yeah,
Audi,
yeah,
BMW, Mercedes.
yeah.
They're the same
Big three.
market. They make the same cars. You just choose the brand you like, and I'm an Audi
Hmm.
one.
I think I'm an Audi one. This
Mercedes
is
are weird.
despite never owning an Audi, BMW, or Mercedes.
You do own a Skoda, so that's decently close to the Audi. You've got an Audi
Yeah,
A1 is what you've actually got.
pretty much.
So Audi is kind of the aggressive one. BMW, I'm really not sure on. They, I don't know.
An old Mercedes, though, like a late 90s Mercedes
Oh,
with the
that's
wood
different.
interior. They're
Yeah, it
beautiful.
changes the game. I'd love a 90s Mercedes, a
They're
C-Class estate
beautiful.
or something.
Oh, they're stunning.
But if we're getting to like that, then I want a 90s Volvo.
Like an 850.
Yeah, I want it to be the least aerodynamic car ever made. But when I hit something, like the world knows about it.
But yeah,
You know,
I
mowing
mean,
down trees, children, everything, you know?
and you're killing all the orangutans because the emissions are through the roof.
Oh, yeah, you can see the emissions from satellite. Definitely.
But yeah, for me, it would be some cool, fast wagon of some form that's probably German.
I agree with you. I do quite like a Mercedes shooting brake. They're quite nice.
Hmm.
I'm not
Can't
normally a
quite decide
Mercedes
what they
fan,
are.
but I also like the Mercedes V8 engine, the one that's in the AMG GT, the one that's in the Aston
Not the new MG
Martin
GT
Vantage.
though.
You know, but it's not in that. It's not Mercedes. That's just crap. I do like a Mercedes V8, and I do like a Audi V8, but I also like the Audi Straight Six from many years ago. But BMW engines, I just don't care about. I don't know why they don't do it for me,
You
unless it's a
know,
'90s BMW, and then I'd like a 3 Series.
do you know what I think is a good thing for us is that almost everybody on the internet that talks about cars absolutely rims BMW.
Really,
And
and I'm doing the opposite.
yeah, everybody loves an old 3 Series or an old 5, 7, whatever series, from the 90s or early noughties. Like BMWs are like the car that an influence, a car person would have. But for me, it's an Audi. I don't know.
Oh, same. I'm.
I don't know.
d- I mean, I've got an opinion that will get us feedback.
Yeah,
B-
positive or negative.
oh, people will hate me for this one. BMWs are for people who think they're car fans, but they're not.
Could you elaborate?
They're just not that interesting, not that good. They currently weigh the size of a small planet. They are absolutely hideous. And then they change the design language and everyone's like, yay, they're doing it different. And they're still hideous. They
What do
Scott
you think
said
to the
it,
kidney grills?
but again, like it died in the
This is
early
like a 3-year-old topic. This is not new, but I
the
don't think
kidney
I've had your
grills
opinion.
were fine until, about 2010 or so. Like the older ones again through 80s, 90s and 2000s, they looked good. I actually quite like the Chris Bangle ones that a lot of people disliked, and I think they have aged very, very well. But the new ones, I think they're horrible and they're going to age badly. There's just bits on them. Although, to be fair, the new RS6 is like that. There's too much stuff on that car. It needs to have less stuff hanging off
Most
of
new
it.
cars have too much stuff. It's like they don't know where to stop.
I agree, but actually, that's my problem with the new RS6 is they appear to have modeled it after BMW, where they're just add more stuff, and it's like you could have stopped designing that halfway
Flared
through, and it would have been
arches and
better.
bits of carbon and
Yeah,
scoops and
especially at the front where it's just there's a lot of stuff happening, and you're
yeah,
like, can you
it's
just take it
very
away and
busy.
make it a bit of a sleeper? And modern BMWs appear to be going the opposite way of every car is attempting to look aggressive. even the ones that shouldn't look aggressive. But also they're incredibly ugly. Like, just all of them are. So, uh, yeah, they're not
I
for
think
me at all.
Audi for me has such a good range of car options as well. You know, they've got the supercar at the extreme end of the scale, but then they've got the A1, you know. BMW and Merc don't have that little city car.
No, no.
Um, and
But
then
I
there's, you
wonder
know,
if
the there's the recent Top Dead Center videos. They're working on an RS6, which had the V10, and it's such a big engine that you want to do anything to it, engine out.
see, I
It's
like
n-
that.
it's it's
That's
not at
ridiculous.
all friendly to work on because you want to change this small bit of cable, engine out.
I think if you are buying a V10 RS6 or making a V10 RS6, you shouldn't be worried about service ability. It's like
Mm.
you've got somebody to deal with that, and your bank
Yeah,
balance can deal with that.
yeah, yeah. So
And
to self work on it, it would be a nightmare. But
oh, absolutely not.
you've got a V10 in an estate car. Whoa, come on.
I definitely have a bit of that. And I feel
Yeah,
like that's not something you will get from a Mercedes or a BMW at all.
no,
But an
no.
Audi, you'd be like, I could see Audi doing that. Let's take the R8 engine and wedge it into an RS6.
Do you know what? Here's a hot. It's not a hot take. It's maybe a lukewarm take. I quite like the TT, the Audi
Uh,
TT.
I like the TT. There's nothing wrong with the TT. I
You
think
know, I
anybody
grew up watching Top Gear, and they said it was a car for hairdressers, but I quite like
bollocks.
it. I quite like it.
Top Gear, right? So I love Top Gear, by the way. Absolute massive Top Gear
Oh, we're
fan.
gonna get Top Gear slander.
No, well, no, because like I understand why they do it. Like, love Top Gear, love Jeremy Clarkson, even when he's punching producers in the face. Love it. And as we're recording this, he's doing more farming tomorrow. That comes out on Amazon tomorrow. I'm looking forward to his
Oh,
incompetence. So love all that,
yes.
right? But sometimes he says stuff because the honest review would be boring. He can't go up there and be like, this Porsche Cayman's great. You can't do that because it's not interesting. So then he's got to say, oh, well, it's just a poor man's 911. Right? Well, is there anything wrong with that? It's like, oh, I can't afford a £100,000 car. Here's a £50,000 Cayman. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But he said it because he needs the reaction. And I feel like the TT gets that as well. Oh, it's a hairdresser's car. And I was like, it's a fun car. It's relatively nippy. Looks good. What's the problem? I don't have an issue with that because if you apply that, that is the same logic where people say an MX-5 is not a real sports car, and you're like, I think you'll find it's the ultimate sports car.
It's
Sports cars didn't used to
it's
be
the
about
sports
power.
car.
Exactly, and I think anybody who disagrees is not a real car fan because you don't understand cars. You think power is the only thing there. You don't need a Ferrari to have fun. The MX-5 is well within that window of fun, and I think the TT is that as well. I really like the TT. I'm really beginning to enjoy these kind of smaller, less powerful cars nowadays.
Do
There's
you know what?
around the corner from me, there's
Go on,
a
sorry.
Peugeot, is it RCZ? Is that what it's
Mm,
called?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's great looking.
It's a cool
Like,
piece of kit,
it's
that.
it's got up to 200 brake horsepower according to Wiki, depending on what engine's in it. And you're like, that's more than enough to have a bit of fun with your car. Like, you're
Yeah,
not going to need
and it
more than
looks
that
a
on a
bit
public
unique.
road. Like,
No,
you could do some very silly things on a public road with 200 brake horsepower. It looks great. It looks cool. It's aged very well. You could take it to a track and have even more fun with it. I think that's a great
what
car.
more do you need? Yeah.
Exactly. And it looks more stylish than what a Peugeot would normally look. I know Peugeots now have had a real glow up and they look really good, but
I think new
back then,
modern Peugeots look great. A lot of them do anyway.
yeah, they do. But back when that one was made, Peugeots weren't quite cool, really. They were just generic cars. And that one looks really good. They did a great job on that car, and I really, really like it. And it's also convertible, which is the same idea as a Boxster, same idea as an MX-5 TTs. You could put the roof down on the 3 days that we have sun here, and
I
you could
saw an
really enjoy it.
S2000, a really mint S2000 on Saturday. Beautiful piece of kit.
I think that's great. So
Beautiful piece. That is all the car you could need.
I
I
think
just
you're
like the look of estate cars. I don't need that much space, but I
mhm.
think the stance and the road presence. I think an estate car looks really cool, but you don't really need much more than a fun little sports car.
S2000s are great, and you've got the Z4 and the Z3. great
Yeah.
cars. And they're not
Yeah.
actually that powerful in the grand scheme of things. Bit more than the 200 from the Peugeot, but still,
Unless
they're
your
not Ferrari
Z4
level.
has been to Switzerland and dinked, and then you get voted worst car of the car meet. But
I think we should give that a better award. I don't think that car deserves
no,
it because that car has stories behind it. It's been to
yeah,
Switzerland and up and up.
it's not been storage all the
That car
time.
has lived, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's like when you see dirty race cars at the end of the race. Yeah, that car's
Hmm.
got a story behind it, and I love that. So I don't think your take is lukewarm or a hot take or anything. I think you're exactly spot on. The TT is a great car.
Do you think there are cars, or do you think the current era of cars has irreversibly changed because of things like Top Gear? Do you think Top Gear set out the precedent? Do you think they had that much influence on cars or not?
That's an interesting one because I was going to say yes. I think cars have changed because Top Gear had very strong opinions on things, which is why Top Gear was popular. But then you look around and there's loads of MX-5s and stuff like that. But at the same time, you know, I don't know if they're still doing the MX-5, and I'm on the Volkswagen site, and there's not that many interesting things on it. They're kind of all the same. You look at Ford, and they don't do little Pumas or anything interesting anymore. It's just
Mm. You know,
SUVs.
like peak Top Gear when all three of them raved about the Mondeo. Do you think Ford benefited from that? They must have done.
Probably. I wonder if you could track Top Gear episodes versus car sales. Like if
Mm.
they reviewed something on week one, did prices or did Ford sell more cars on week two? Because that'd be really because that's the old motorsport model, isn't it? It's like win on
Hmm.
Sunday, sell on Monday.
Yeah,
Were
absolutely,
we getting that in Top Gear? Maybe.
possibly.
I could see
You
it
know, there
because
are some cars that they absolutely raved about and fell in love with, and I wonder if that legacy still remains. If people maybe bought a Ford because the Top Gear said so, and now they've had Fords ever since. You know.
I wonder if I wonder if it also works in the negative because there are a lot of people who'll talk about the Boxster being a hairdresser's car and the Cayman being a poor man's 911. And that all comes from Top Gear. That's all just Top Gear opinions, but you still see loads of them out there. So you've got this kind of weird split where people who know they're good will buy them, and people who not going to buy them have the opinion from Top Gear. So maybe it hasn't impacted sales because these people weren't going to buy them in the first place because they wrongly think a TT is a hairdresser's car. But it's
I'll be
certainly
honest. It as a child, it formed my perspective. You
same.
know, I was very easily influenced. You know, my dad was in the market for a new car, and it, you know, his shortlist became a Peugeot 406 estate, which, you know, I've ended up being quite fond of estate cars. But I remember saying, "Don't get a Peugeot," and I remember him saying, "What? Because Jeremy Clarkson said so." I'm like, "Well, yeah. Do you know what? Because I'm only 10-year old. I don't really know what makes a good car or not, but I've heard a man on the telly say it is."
And I think
So
even when you get older, it's like, let's be honest, people in their teens and early 20s are very impressionable as well, or even older. It's like that's how the
it's just like
internet kind of gets
influencers
us,
now,
isn't it?
isn't it?
Yeah.
They leave impressions on people to buy something or feel like they need to spend money on something.
But there's kind of a deeper point to it as well, isn't there? Because we're sitting talking about how Peugeots before were really nice, whereas Peugeots 10 years ago weren't. And you're like, but it could be mechanically the same car. It's just with added drag to it.
Perception,
Yeah.
stigma,
It's quite
social
interesting.
status. Yeah.
All they could have done is change
Well,
how it looks. And we've went, oh, they're really nice now.
Skoda used to be a bit, well, seen as a bit dreary, and they'd have the slogan, you know, "Oh, another great Skoda," and they were sort of a laughable. And then they've turned around, and Skodas are great cars now.
Yeah. That makes you wonder where we're going to end up with Chinese brand like JQ in the future. In 10 years, are we going to be sitting going, that new JQ is actually really good? Whereas right
Maybe.
now, it's quite clearly a Jeep ripoff. It's just
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
we've got three of them that are all identical. But
Be
does it
interesting to
matter
see
if it gets them in the door?
how many legacy brands die in the next 10 years and how many brands you've never heard of. Like, what was the one I saw? Uh, there was one I've never heard of them. Um, hold on. Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, I do think cars are a lot less interesting now. Look at Nissan, for example. They used to have the 350Z, the 370Z, and the GTR. They've got none of that now. It's like now you can have a Qashqai, a Duke, and a Micra, which is a reskinned Renault 5. It's like I do think we've got a lot less interesting vehicles now than what we used to have.
Absolutely.
And I actually like the older Micras. I just don't like the new Micra because it's just a reskinned Renault 5.
Yeah. Geely?
Oh, I've heard of Geely. They're an older
What's
one,
a
aren't they?
what is a Geely? I've
So
never heard of a Geely.
Geely is a Chinese brand. If I remember rightly, Polestar is a combination of Volvo and Geely, I think.
Really?
And I
Okay.
think Geely own Proton. Do you remember them from a
I
while
remember
back?
the Proton Savvy, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's owned by Geely now. I might be wrong.
Interesting. Like I say, these new you know, I'd never heard of JQ until maybe a year ago, and I think that's just gonna keep happening.
I think so. But I'm on the Nissan site, and to be honest, I've not heard of any of these.
Nissan?
Yeah, so we got the Leaf. Okay, fair enough. You got the Micra, which is just a Renault 5 with eyeliner on. We've got the Qashqai. We've got the Duke. We've got the Aria. I don't know what that is,
The
but
Areola, yeah.
it's exactly the same as the Leaf. So that's
Mm,
pointless. Then we've got the X-Trail, which is just a bigger Qashqai. So that's pointless. And that's it. And then at the bottom, you could buy a van. There's nothing
lovely.
interesting there at all.
No,
None of
no.
those are interesting vehicles. And that's a bit sad because before,
Same
every
with the
car brand had an
GTR.
interesting thing. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
have a GTR or a 370Z. And I'd love a 370Z.
Ford used to have Focus RS, they'd maybe have a Mustang.
Yep. And you go back slightly further, they'd have the old Puma, the little
Mhm.
two-door sports car. Like, there was interesting to Ford GT, if you want something really
Yeah.
interesting.
That
Loads of
Leaf
stuff.
is unbelievably boring.
Yeah. Like, it's not ugly, it's just boring.
I went in a Kia EV6 the other day, and,
How
you know,
bored were you?
I was so bored. It goes like shit off a shovel because it's
Um,
instant torque,
I'm sure it does, just like
but
every
I
electric car.
feel nothing. I felt absolutely nothing.
So that's one of my issues with electric cars is people say, yeah, but the performance is better than petrol cars. It's like, I agree. It totally is, 100%. But an electric car, a petrol car, it's not about the fastest to 0 to 60. It's how you get there and the feeling. It's that thing of a microwave is faster than my oven,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to microwave my chips,
No.
or as faster than a frying pan. I'm not going to microwave my steak. So,
Some things are better when it takes longer.
yeah, I'm on the Kia website, by the way. They've got a lot of cars. They're
Kia.
all the same, but they have got a lot of cars.
Yeah. They're,
None of them interesting.
let's have a look.
Do you not
Wow,
remember?
they have a lot of cars.
They do have a lot of cars. And you know what? None of them are interesting. Where's the Kia? Is it Singer that they had
Do you remember the
before?
Stinger GT? That was quite
Yeah,
cool.
that was great. Don't have that anymore.
No.
Now there are 6 SUVs that are all the same.
Hey, do you know what though? I drove past a Kia PV5 uh,
What is
van,
that? Of iron?
and it's just a square, and it's quite
Oh,
cute.
I mean, that's interesting though. I'm okay with that because
It's
it's different.
yeah,
And
they
that,
do
that
a seven-seater, I think, and or maybe even bigger, but it's very interesting design.
but look at the list of cars. Look at the little icon of the EV2 and the EV3 and the EV9 and the EV.
Same
Why are these not in order, by the way? Why is the EV2 3 up the top and then the
239.
fives down at the bottom? They're all the same.
Yeah.
They are the same vehicle every
Do
time.
you know if an EV3, 4, and 5 went past me, I couldn't pick them out in a lineup.
The most interesting one there is the Kia Picanto. That looks fun.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
the Picanto is the most interesting vehicle that Kia do now.
I remember the Sportage coming out,
Yeah.
and that kind of was at the dawn of this SUV era, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Am I keeping you up, Dave?
No, no, I don't know if you could tell from my, voice, I'm very slightly unwell, so that's why I'm sounding all,
Well, that's all
rough
right.
and
We've
attractive today.
we've chewed that. We've managed to fill the airways for nearly 90 minutes.
I know, how are we 90 minutes into this? I don't even know what we talked about. I
All
moaned
right,
about
here's
electric
here's
cars a
the
lot.
thing. You have to buy a brand new car
Yep,
that isn't electric,
Christ. I don't even know what there is.
and you have a budget of £30,000. What manufacturer first comes to mind?
Dacia.
Interesting. See, I was Renault.
I don't know any Renaults other than the Renault 5, and that's electric. Let me
Um,
you look at the Renault website, see what there is. Are
they still
Da
do the Clio
are
and the
Dacia
Megane,
not
but it's
owned by
not really a
Renault?
Megane anymore. It's more of an SUV, the Megane. It just looks like a scenic. In fact, go on Renault's website
Yep,
and
I'm
tell me
there.
if you can see the difference between the Megane and the scenic, just from the pictures.
When did the Megane become an SUV?
Few, I don't know, a few years ago.
There's 4 cars there that are identical. The Megane, the Scenic, the Austral, and the Symbioz.
Yeah, they are all the same car.
Not only are they all the same, they're all in the same price bracket.
How
They
do you
are the
pick?
same.
How do
And
you
you know,
pick?
and the Capture.
And the
Go up
Capture, and if you
go
want to
up a
go a
little
little
bit.
bit other way, there's the Raphael.
No,
Twingo's
uh,
cool,
the Twingo's cool, definitely,
but it's
as is the
electric.
Renault 4 and the Renault 5. They are both quite cool.
Mm.
Now
So
on
the
the
only petrol cars that Renault do are the Clio, the Captur, or a traffic van.
so
All the rest
I'm on the
are
Dacia
hybrid or
website,
electric.
and
Yeah.
I would definitely take the Jogger or the Duster. See, what was
What's a
the
jogger?
price? What was the price? 30 grand.
30.
I'll have 2 Sanderos,
Wow, yeah.
which makes it sound like an ice cream.
It does. 2 Sanderos, please.
Yeah, yeah, 1 in tropical and 1 in cherry flavor, please.
The jogger, that's a wagon. Okay.
Yeah, and the Duster is just the wagon, but higher. Slightly shorter, actually. I think the
Mm.
Duster is just a Sandero raised up, but I quite like it.
Do you know, I really don't mind that jogger, you know?
No, I don't mind the Jogger at all, and Duster looks good as well.
That is an alright car.
Dacia was another one that I think people used to laugh at, similar to Skoda,
Mhm.
and now you look at it and you go, "Oh, that's legit."
I remember when the Sandero first came to the UK,
Yeah,
uh, in fact, my mum had one, and it was like a brand new car for 9 grand, but
yeah,
it was just a Clio. It was a Clio. It was an old Clio that had been rebadged.
yeah. It's probably what the new one is, to be fair. The
Yeah.
Sandero is probably the
There's
same thing.
still probably all Renault parts, isn't it?
But the Sandero's under 15. So new car for 30 grand, I'll have 2 Sanderos.
That's
Or I'll have a
crazy.
Duster and 9 grand spare.
So you wouldn't even try and get like an entry level, sort of higher end brand. You just go in for Dacia.
Yeah, probably, because I imagine it's pretty decent on the inside. I imagine actually by the time you've specced it up and got everything that you want, it's
I'm
probably
building
close
a
to the
jogger
30
as we
anyway.
speak.
I didn't think this would be where our podcast goes, but you're right. I can go and build my own Dacia Duster.
So I can, okay. 181 horsepower in a wagon. Do you know what? That's not bad.
It says here £60 a month. That can't be right. What's the deposit?
Probably
It's,
14 grand.
yeah, it's 10 grand. That's why it is.
Yeah.
Optional final payment of 13 grand.
Mm.
No, wait a
Do you know
minute. So
what?
there's a 10 grand deposit and there's a final payment of 13 grand. So we're at 26 for a car that's 24. I don't think I understand finance anymore.
Well, that's how they get you. Do you know what? As cars go, they're fine. You know, they're very non-offensive, functional.
Mate, it's got 18-inch alloy wheels. What more do you want?
What more do you want? It's got CarPlay,
Yep. That's all I want in a car to just run around in.
CarPlay, and cruise control. That sorts me out.
So, kind of before we finish, then a story about my mate who lent me his Aston before.
Mm.
He has an Aston. He's got an AMG. He's got a Mercedes G something. It's a relatively large SUV. It's quite nice. And he has a Land Rover from the mid 2000s, so quite old now, but not like an old classic one that we're picturing. The Land Rover is probably my favorite car that he has because there's so much stuff in it that's all broken and it's great because it still works. Like everything is broken in it. Like the glove box like is slightly hanging down and stuff, but the vehicle itself still works. I mean, you think it's like if you just want to get from A to B and have the ability to carry a small planet, what a car.
Mm,
Like that
yeah.
that's what you need. I'd I don't get me wrong, I'd love an Aston Martin sitting out the side, but I also want a Land Rover or something just pure utilitarian like that. It's like he bought this and it's clearly done about 200,000 miles. It's mostly comprised of rust
Hmm.
underneath. It's being held together by hopes and dreams. And it's my favorite car of his because it's absolutely brilliant. And there's no fanciness of it. It's just great. And I kind of feel like a new Duster is a little bit of that of it just does what it does. And that's it. It doesn't pretend to be anything else. It's beautifully simple.
I like that. Doesn't pretend to be something it isn't.
No, it's a Dacia Duster. And you can get it in a color called terracotta, and I like that.
Oh yeah. What more do you want?
There's also dusty khaki. That looks good as well.
Dusty khaki. What the
By the
yeah, so I'll pull Dacia up because they say choose your version question mark. Select your powertrain question mark. It's not a question, it's a statement.
Yeah, I don't like the question marks there. I did spot that. The builder is not the best. I like that it's got one option of a upholstery and wheels.
Do you know what? I've never
The
actually built a car. Do you build it and then just pay for it and then they make it? Is that it?
yeah, kinda, yeah. I think, you build it and it sends it to, like, your local dealer, and then you have to go in and
Right.
deal with them. It's not like building a computer from Apple, and then they just build it in China and
Yeah.
ship it over.
I've never done it, but yeah, it's like it's like speccing a new MacBook.
Yeah, there's quite a wait on these as well normally when you
Is
spec
there?
a car. So it takes a little while for it to actually get built and shipped to you, sometimes months or in some cars, years. It's just not how I want to buy a car. I want to go on Auto
No.
Trader and
If
have
I'm
one by
buying a
the
car, I
afternoon.
could do with it like pretty soon,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
in a few years' time.
yeah.
But anyway, I think where better to end than specking up a Dacia estate car?
It's not where I expected this pod to go, but you never know what you're gonna get with us.
You just don't know where we're going to meander.
Do you think anybody's
Wherever the
actually
wind
listened to
blows.
this full episode, or do you I think they all switched off, like, halfway through?
Yeah, this. I think this is just you and I right now.
Ah, that's fair enough. It's more like therapy for us than actually a podcast, isn't it?
Pretty much, it's therapy that there's a few eavesdroppers,
Imagine
but it works
broadcasting your therapy. That's basically what we're doing.
pretty much. But we'll leave it there. Um, this has been an extendable arse, a big arse. Um,
And we promised to do more episodes. We have been really bad at scheduling them, so
yes,
let's
we have.
get on it and do more. So, how many
So this
magazines have you got left? We still selling issue 4?
issue four's not even been made. We're selling issue three.
Still, you're right, we are selling issue 3. Are you
Issue
sure?
two is
Yeah, you're
gone.
right. I
Issue
mean,
two
just
is
looking up
gone.
there. So two's gone now. 1
Two's
and 2
gone.
sold out.
Gone.
Cool. So we're selling issue 3.
Issue
So
three has double-digit quantities remaining, and it's a number that is less than 50.
very nice. So if anybody wants to take a guess, if you write in what number you think it is, if you get
You
it right,
you have a
then
1 in
we'll give you a
49
shout out.
chance.
You
Yeah,
Yeah, you do. So, all right, cool. So sales are going well, and they're going to be going better after this episode because everybody who listens is going to go and buy it.
absolutely. In the
Cool.
hopes that there's a Dacia feature, which there isn't, not yet.
No, but issue 4 might end
I'd
up
have a
having a.
Dacia. I'd have a pressed Dacia.
Me and you should go to the Alps in a press Dacia with Len and his Z4.
Yeah.
Dacia, if you're listening, give us a duster.
Make it happen.
We will go and do a photo shoot for you up the Alps. Len, you're definitely listening. Bring your glorious Z4, which is not the worst car of the show. It will be the
It's the
best car
winner
of
in
the
our
show.
eyes.
Ah, love it. Yeah. Dacia, give us a duster or a Sandero or something. We will go and take it up an Alp.
Up many Alps. I think
Or maybe we
that's enough
track
said.
it with the Peugeots.
Oh, come on.
Dacia, send us a car, but with spare tires and spare brake pads, and we
Yes,
will take it around Alton Park.
and look after it,
I definitely won't be looked after by the time I'm done with it.
allegedly.
No, I just
We'll leave it there. Thank you for listening to this big, big arse, big extended arse, feature length arse. Do you want to add anything, Dave?
I think I should have stopped adding stuff about 90 minutes ago to this episode.
Um, Dave has an Arpiver magazine. You already
Yep.
know that.
Go buy Slicks. Go subscribe to the Racing Line. That's all I'm
And
going to
come
say. I'm
back
not
here
good
for the
at
next episode.
I'm rubbish at marketing. Buy my
Yeah.
stuff. That's
Yes,
how
buy
marketing
my
works, isn't it?
things, and come back here for more arse and other stuff that
We'll
we
hopefully
do.
have an episode next week, but there's no promises because we're really bad at this.
Yeah. Yeah. But until then, whenever that may be, Dave, it's been a pleasure.
I was good. I'm glad
Goodbye.
we're doing this again. See you later.
Yes. Goodbye.